Have you ever noticed how even the most formidable structures crumble when their foundation is shaken? People, relationships, and even the strongest bonds are no different. The question is, what happens when you become the force that shakes their foundation? What if you could awaken a longing so deep, a regret so profound, that they're left questioning everything they thought they knew about you? Not through manipulation, not through pleading, but by wielding the quiet, unshakable power of your transformation. This isn't about revenge, it's about reclaiming your power, mastering your presence, and becoming the kind of person they cannot ignore. They walked away, but you're still standing. This is your moment to rise, to reclaim everything you thought you lost, and to bring them to their knees, not in submission, but in awe of the person you've become. Relationships have a way of making us forget our power. We pour so much of ourselves into someone else that we start to believe their opinion defines us. But they don't define you. You do. Enough is enough. Take your power back. When they left, they may have thought they were leaving you broken, but they underestimated you. Your scars are proof you survived, and now it's time to thrive. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, this is your rebirth. You don't need them to be whole. Feel the pain, but don't live there. Picture this: a sculptor chiseling away at a block of marble. To the untrained eye, the slab appears lifeless, but to the artist, it holds infinite potential. Every strike of the chisel removes what doesn't belong, revealing the masterpiece within. That's you right now. Every tear you've shed, every moment of doubt has been shaping you. You've cried enough. It's time to conquer. Your story isn't over, it's just beginning. There's a psychological truth you must understand. Desire isn't born from what is given freely. It's sparked by what is rare, what is mysterious, what feels just out of reach. As Søren Kierkegaard once said, the most painful state of being is remembering the future, particularly the one you can never have. Imagine becoming that future for them, the person they can't stop thinking about, the one they regret walking away from. But to do that, you have to stop chasing, stop explaining, stop trying to prove your worth to someone who couldn't see it. Instead, become the lighthouse standing tall in the storm. The strongest fires create the brightest flames. A lighthouse doesn't chase ships, it guides them. Its power isn't in its movement, but in its unwavering presence. That's the energy you need to embody. Look in the mirror. That's your biggest ally. Every scar, every wound, every piece of you they left behind is now a badge of your resilience. You're not a victim. You're the hero of this story. When someone walks away, they often convince themselves they're making the right choice. They think they'll find someone else who can give them what you did. But here's the truth. You're irreplaceable. What you brought to their life, the laughter, the depth, the love, wasn't just ordinary. It was unique, like a fingerprint that no one else can replicate. And no matter how far they run or how hard they try, they'll feel the absence of that connection. Your silence will echo louder than their words. Imagine holding a flame in your hand. At first, it burns brightly, lighting the room. But when it's gone, the darkness feels heavier, emptier, more consuming. That's the void your absence creates. Let them feel it. Let them sit with the silence and confront the emptiness they thought would be freedom. Let your growth become the light that draws them back. Not because you begged, but because they realized they walked away from the one thing they can't replace. They underestimated you. Now prove them wrong. Transform yourself into someone so radiant, so unshakable, that they have no choice but to take notice. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about uncovering the power that was always within you. The love you seek, starts with you. Stop waiting for someone else to complete you. They left? Good. Now, build without limits. This is your moment to become the force they cannot escape. Pain is temporary. Regret lasts forever. Think of a forest consumed by fire. At first, it looks like devastation, but beneath the ashes, new life begins to grow. The fire wasn't the end, it was the beginning. You are that forest, and this is your rebirth. Every setback was a setup for this moment. Let the hurt fuel your growth. Let their absence become the soil where your strength and resilience take root. When they see you again, they won't recognize the person they left behind. You'll be stronger, wiser, more magnetic. And when they come back, and they will, it won't be because you chased them. It will be because you became someone they can't ignore. Someone who doesn't just survive heartbreak, but turns it into power. Why survive when you were born to thrive? This is your moment to reclaim everything. Stop waiting for permission to be amazing. Stop waiting for them to see your worth. Your future is watching. What will it see? Stand up. No one's coming to save you, and no one needs to, because you're already stronger than the excuses holding you back. You don't need them to be whole. The love you seek starts with you. If not now, then when? Take a deep breath. Look in the mirror. That's the person who holds the key to everything you've ever wanted. Not them, you. Stop waiting. The time is now. The power of affirmation lies in its ability to reprogram your mind, align your intentions, and ignite the unstoppable force within you. Here is today's affirmation. I am the unshakable force. Write this in the comments to claim your power and set your transformation in motion. If this message resonated with you, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. We're pouring our hearts into creating content that inspires, uplifts, and empowers you. Your support means everything to us. Let's rise together. Number 1. The echo of unfulfilled promises. Have you ever wondered why certain memories refuse to leave us? Why the promises we made or received linger, even when the people behind them are gone? Promises aren't just words, they're anchors. And when those promises are broken or abandoned, they don't disappear, they echo. They echo in the silence, in the empty spaces left behind, and in the hearts of those who walked away. The echo of unfulfilled promises is the haunting reminder of what could have been, a constant nudge to their soul of everything they lost when they let you go. In relationships, promises are more than commitments. They're threads that bind two souls together. When someone walks away, they think they've cut those threads, but they're wrong. What you gave them, the love, the trust, the hope, isn't something that can be erased. It lingers, growing louder in their mind, whispering, "What if? What if I stayed? What if I had seen their worth?" And that whisper will become a roar when they realize that the future they could have had with you is a melody they'll never hear again. You're not broken. You're rising. Imagine standing in an empty theater after a breathtaking performance. The actors are gone, the stage is bare, but the applause still rings in your ears. That's what your absence feels like to them. You were the performance of their life, the love they'll never replicate. And the silence you left behind will echo louder than any words ever could. As Rainer Maria Rilke said, "Our deepest fears are like houses on fire. They burn, and we cannot enter them." Let them feel the burn of what they abandoned. Let them realize that they didn't just leave. You became the echo of their unfulfilled promises, a presence they'll carry long after the applause has faded. But this isn't about holding on to the past or wishing for what was lost. This is about recognizing the power of those echoes, not for them, but for you. Every promise you made, every ounce of love you poured into that relationship was a reflection of your strength, not theirs. Look in the mirror. That's your biggest ally. They don't define you. You do. You've cried enough. It's time to conquer. Feel the pain, but don't live there. Turn your pain into your power. Think of a bridge built with care, brick by brick, spanning a wide and treacherous river. You were that bridge, offering them a way to cross, to grow, to transform. When they left, they didn't just abandon you, they stranded themselves. Now, every step they take will remind them of the bridge they burned, the journey they can no longer complete without you. Your scars are proof you survived, and now it's time to rebuild, not for them, but for you. You're not the echoes they hear in the night. You're the silence they can't escape. They underestimated you. Now prove them wrong. Their absence is your opportunity, a chance to rise stronger, brighter, and more magnetic than ever before. This is your moment to reclaim everything. Let their regret fuel your growth, not your bitterness. Let their longing remind you of your power, not your loss. You don't need them to be whole, and they'll come back realizing they need you more than they ever knew. When they walked away, they thought they were free. But freedom without fulfillment is emptiness. Every promise they made to you will haunt them as an unfulfilled vow. The love you gave wasn't ordinary. It was a gift, a spark, a force of nature. And now that spark lives in you, waiting to ignite your next chapter. Stop waiting for permission to be amazing. Stop waiting for them to see your worth. Your heart knows its worth. Listen to it. You're not a victim. You're the hero of this story. They walked away, but you're still standing, stronger, wiser, and ready to thrive. Every setback you faced was a setup for this moment. The strongest fires create the brightest flames, and you are about to blaze brighter than ever before. This is your time. The love you seek starts with you. Stop waiting. The time is now. Let me leave you with this affirmation. I am the echo. Write it in the comments below to claim your power and set your transformation in motion. If this message resonated with you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're working tirelessly to create content that inspires, uplifts, and empowers you to reclaim your strength and live the life you deserve. This is your story. Write it boldly and let the echoes of your greatness ring out for all to hear. Number 2, the gravity of emotional debt. Have you ever thought about what happens to love when it's left unpaid, like an emotional debt someone walks away from without a second thought? It lingers. It doesn't disappear. It accrues interest. Every moment you spent giving your time, your energy, your vulnerability, it all carries a weight that doesn't fade just because they chose to leave. What they don't realize yet is that love isn't disposable, and the emotional debt they owe you is a gravity they'll feel every day, pulling at their heart with increasing intensity. Think of this. Love, at its core, is an exchange. But unlike material debts, emotional debts don't come with invoices or reminders. They grow in silence. The laughter you shared, the comfort you gave, the nights you spent being their anchor in a storm. They might have walked away, thinking they left those moments behind. But the truth is, those moments follow them like shadows, growing longer and darker with time. The heaviest burdens are not the ones we carry on our backs, but the ones we carry in our hearts. That burden isn't yours anymore, it's theirs. Relationships often ask us to give more than we receive, but there's a balance to everything. When someone takes your love for granted, that balance shifts, creating an emotional debt they didn't even realize they were incurring. Imagine lending someone a priceless artifact, only to have them walk away as if it had no value. They may leave thinking they're free, but freedom doesn't feel so light when it's weighed down by the realization of what they lost. And they will realize it. Not today, maybe not tomorrow, but your love was never ordinary. It was transformative, irreplaceable. They don't define you, you do. Picture a seed planted in fertile soil. You watered it, nurtured it, and it began to grow. But just when it was starting to flourish, they walked away, leaving the plant to wither. What they don't see is that your care made that plant extraordinary. It wasn't just a seed anymore. It was something alive, something meaningful. And now, as they roam barren fields, searching for something similar, they'll come to understand the value of what they left behind. That is the gravity of emotional debt, a realization that grows heavier with every fleeting connection, every hollow interaction they try to replace you with. You're not broken, you're rising. They might have thought their departure would leave you shattered, but what they underestimated is your resilience. Every tear you shed, every moment of pain has been shaping you into someone stronger, someone unstoppable. The strongest fires create the brightest flames. They thought they left you behind, but what they left was the seed of your transformation. You don't need them to be whole. You were always whole. Feel the pain, but don't live there. This is your moment to rise, to reclaim everything they took for granted. Emotional debts have a way of haunting people in unexpected ways. They'll hear a song that reminds them of you, see a place you once shared, or encounter someone who simply can't measure up. And in those moments, the weight of what they owe you will be undeniable. Your silence will echo louder than their words. You don't need to remind them of their debt. Life will do that for you. Let your growth speak for itself. Let your absence become a presence so powerful that it forces them to confront what they've lost. Your heart knows its worth. Listen to it. You gave them something they'll never find elsewhere, a love that was raw, real, and unfiltered. And while they may have walked away thinking the grass would be greener elsewhere, they'll soon realize that no amount of searching will bring them the richness they once had. That's the gravity of emotional debt. It pulls harder the longer they try to escape it. But don't let their choices define your path. They underestimated you. Now prove them wrong. This isn't about waiting for their apology. It's about becoming so undeniably radiant that their absence feels irrelevant. Turn your pain into your power. Your story isn't over. It's just beginning. Every setback was a setup for this moment. They left? Good. Now build without limits. The love you seek starts with you. Stop waiting for permission to be amazing. Get up. No one's coming to save you, and no one needs to, because you're already stronger than the excuses holding you back. Write this affirmation in the comments. I am the force. Let it be a declaration of your power, a reminder that you are the gravity they'll always feel but can never escape. If this message resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We're pouring our hearts into creating lessons that empower, uplift, and inspire transformation. Your support fuels us to continue helping you create the life you deserve. Let's rise together. The time is now. And number 3, the mirror they can't escape. Have you ever noticed how certain mirrors make us see things we can't unsee? They don't just reflect our image, they show us the truth, raw, unfiltered, undeniable. In relationships, you were that mirror for them. You didn't just reflect their best self, you reflected their potential, their flaws, their desires, and their fears. Now that you're gone, every other reflection feels incomplete, distorted, insufficient. They can replace people, but they can't replace the clarity you brought into their life. You're not just a memory, you're the standard they'll measure everyone else against. This isn't about manipulation. It's about becoming so unshakable, so magnetic, that they're drawn back to you by the force of their own realizations. They don't define you, you do. When someone walks away, it feels like a betrayal, a rejection. But here's the truth. Their departure is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their inability to face the mirror you held up. And now, every time they look at someone else, they'll be searching for that clarity, that honesty, that connection you provided. Your heart knows its worth. Listen to it. Think of a lighthouse standing tall on the edge of a stormy sea. It doesn't chase the ships, it simply shines, guiding them through the chaos. That's the kind of presence you need to embody. Stop chasing, stop explaining, stop justifying. You don't need to prove your worth. Your absence will do the work for you. Let them feel the weight of what they've lost. Let them struggle with the hollow reflections of others until they finally see the truth. You were the light they couldn't replicate. There's a powerful quote by Carl Jung that says, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." That's what you were for them. A reflection of truths they couldn't face. Your love, your authenticity, your presence, it made them see themselves in ways they weren't ready for. And now that you're gone, they're left with the shallow waters of other connections, searching for the depth only you brought to their life. They underestimated you. Now prove them wrong. Picture this, a river cutting through stone. It seems impossible at first. How can something so soft and fluid carve through something so solid? But over time, the river's persistence creates a masterpiece. That's you, your quiet strength, your resilience, your unwavering presence. It shaped their life in ways they don't even understand yet. And now, without you, they'll feel the absence of that flow, that steady current of love and growth. You're not broken, you're rising. When they look in the mirror now, they'll see a void where your reflection used to be. That void will grow day by day, moment by moment, as they realize that no one else makes them feel the way you did. You didn't just love them, you saw them, and that kind of love isn't easy to forget. It lingers, it echoes, it becomes a shadow that follows them wherever they go. They may try to run, but they can't escape the truth. Your silence will echo louder than their words. But this isn't about them. This is about you. Enough is enough. Take your power back. Look in the mirror. That's your biggest ally. Every scar, every tear, every setback is proof of your strength. They walked away, but you're still standing. You don't need them to be whole. Stop waiting for permission to be amazing. The love you seek starts with you. Why survive when you were born to thrive? Every setback you faced was a setup for this moment. This is your chance to rise, to rebuild, to transform yourself into someone so radiant, so undeniable, that they won't recognize the person you've become. And when they come back, and they will, it won't be because you chased them. It will be because they can't forget the way you made them feel, the way you made them see themselves, the way you became the mirror they'll never find again. Let me remind you, your story isn't over. It's just beginning. Turn your pain into your power. Let their absence fuel your growth. When they see the person you've become, they'll realize they didn't just lose you. They lost the version of themselves they could only be with you. And by then, it will be your choice whether they're worthy of the new you. This is your moment to reclaim everything. Stop waiting. The time is now. Take this affirmation with you. I am the mirror they can't escape. Write it in the comments below to claim your power and affirm your transformation. If this message resonated with you, like this video and subscribe to our channel. We're working tirelessly to bring you life-changing lessons that inspire, uplift, and empower you to become the strongest version of yourself. Let's rise together, starting now. Number 4, the ghost of their comfort zone. Have you ever wondered what it takes to become unforgettable? To not just occupy someone's mind, but to haunt their thoughts day and night. It's not about what you give them, it's about what you take away. When you leave their comfort zone, you don't just walk away from a relationship. You take the spark, the energy, the growth you brought to their life. And when you're gone, all they're left with is the cold emptiness of what they thought was enough without you. This is the ghost of their comfort zone, and you are the one who will haunt it. Relationships often fall into patterns: comfortable, predictable, safe. But here's the truth: comfort zones are illusions. They feel secure, but they also trap us in mediocrity. You were never just a part of their routine. You were their bridge to something greater. When you pulled away, you didn't just take your presence. You took the possibilities, the inspiration, the fire you brought into their life. The chains of habit are too weak to be felt until they are too strong to be broken, said Samuel Johnson, and your absence will reveal the chains they didn't realize they wore. Picture this: a house they've lived in for years. It's familiar, it's comfortable, but it's falling apart. They've ignored the cracks in the walls, the leaks in the roof, because it's easier to stay than to rebuild. You are the force urging them to see beyond the brokenness, to step into something better. When you leave, that house doesn't suddenly fix itself. It collapses under its own weight. That's the ghost of their comfort zone. The realization that without you, the life they thought was enough feels hollow, stagnant, and unfulfilling. You're not broken, you're rising. They may have taken your kindness, your energy, your love for granted, but that doesn't define you. It defines them. When you let go of someone who clings to comfort, you reclaim your power. You become the fire they thought they could live without, but now realize they can't replace. Look in the mirror. That's your biggest ally. You don't need them to be whole. You're not a victim. You're the hero of this story. Imagine a bird in a cage, its wings clipped, singing to itself, because it doesn't know what freedom feels like. You were the open sky for them, showing them what it means to soar. But they chose the cage, thinking it was safer. Now they're left alone with their clipped wings, haunted by the memory of the freedom you represented. They'll remember the wind in their feathers, the light in their life, and they'll regret not taking the leap with you. Your absence will be a mirror reflecting their fear of growth, their reluctance to step into the unknown. But here's the powerful part. Their regret isn't your responsibility. You are rising, becoming more, building a life so vibrant, so magnetic, that they can't ignore what they've lost. Feel the pain, but don't live there. Let it fuel your growth. Let it be the fire that transforms you into someone they can't stop thinking about. When they sit in their comfort zone, they'll feel your absence like a ghost whispering in their ear. They'll replay every moment you push them to be better, to dream bigger, to love deeper. And they'll realize they walked away from something they'll never find again. Your silence will echo louder than their words ever could. They thought they were freeing themselves, but they were only imprisoning their potential. Now, prove them wrong. This is your moment to reclaim everything. Stop waiting for permission to be amazing. You've cried enough. It's time to conquer. They underestimated you, but now your transformation will be undeniable. When they look at the life you've built, the person you've become, they'll feel the full weight of what they've lost. Your scars are proof you survived, and not just survived, you thrived. So, rise above their comfort zone, rise above the fear they tried to project onto you. You are not defined by their inability to grow. Your future is watching. What will it see? This is your moment. Stop waiting. The time is now. Affirm this truth. I am the ghost of their comfort zone. Write it in the comments below to claim your power and remind yourself of the incredible force you are becoming. If this message resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We're working tirelessly to bring you life-changing lessons that inspire, empower, and ignite your potential. Together, let's rise and create a life where your presence is unforgettable. Number 5. The shadow of what could have been. Have you ever wondered why the what-if questions haunt us the most? Not the failures, not even the heartbreaks, but the futures we never allowed ourselves to live. In relationships, this shadow of what could have been becomes the heaviest weight. For the one who walked away, it doesn't hit them all at once. It creeps in slowly, like a quiet storm, filling their empty moments with a realization they can't escape. You were the future they let slip away. What if they had stayed? What if they had seen your worth before it was too late? These aren't just idle regrets. They're the seeds of a longing that grows louder with time. We suffer more in imagination than in reality, wrote Seneca. But what happens when the imagination begins to show them a world where you were their anchor, their light, their undeniable partner in this chaotic dance of life? Let them wrestle with that vision. Let the shadow of what could have been follow them into every fleeting moment of happiness and every hollow connection they chase. You don't need to remind them. Time will do the work for you. Imagine a painter leaving a half-finished masterpiece, walking away because they doubted their skill or couldn't see the beauty in the chaos. At first, they might feel relief, but as days pass, they'll remember the strokes they left undone, the masterpiece they abandoned. That's you, the canvas they didn't finish, the potential they didn't recognize. But unlike the canvas, you're not frozen in time. You're evolving, growing, becoming something so extraordinary that when they look back, they'll realize they were holding the brush to a masterpiece they'll never replicate. You don't need to chase their approval or beg for their attention. Stop waiting for someone else to complete the picture when you're the artist of your own life. The love you gave was real, and so is the love you still carry for yourself. Let their regret be their burden, not yours. They underestimated you. Now it's time to show them what they walked away from, not through words, but through action, through growth, through becoming the person they'll wish they never let go of. Think of an orchestra that loses its conductor. At first, the music continues, but soon the harmony falters. The notes lose their direction, and the beauty fades into noise. You were that conductor, the one who gave rhythm and meaning to their world. They thought they could replace you with another tune, but they'll find only dissonance in your absence. Let them search for that harmony. Let them realize it was your presence that turned their chaos into melody. This is your time to rise from the shadows, not as someone waiting for them to return, but as someone who no longer needs to. Look in the mirror. That's the person who holds all the power. You're not broken. You're rebuilding. You're not lost. You're finding yourself again. The strongest fires don't destroy. They purify. Let the flame of your transformation burn brighter than their doubts and regrets. The beauty of your story isn't in their return, it's in your rise. When they see the person you've become, they'll feel the weight of the life they could have had with you, but by then, you'll be too focused on your own brilliance to need their validation. Let their regret be the applause in the distance as you take center stage in your own life. This is your moment to reclaim everything. Now, take a deep breath and remember this affirmation. I am the masterpiece they'll never recreate. Write it in the comments below to declare your power and step into your transformation. Let this be the moment you commit to your rise. If this message inspired you, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. We're dedicated to creating life-changing lessons that empower your heart and mind, and your support helps us reach others on their journey. Together, let's rise above the shadows and become the light. Number 6. The chessboard of control. Have you ever thought about the quiet brilliance of a chessboard? Every piece has its role, its power, its purpose. But the queen, she's the soul of the game. She doesn't chase pawns or scramble to prove her worth. She dominates through strategy, patience, and quiet control. Now think about your relationships. What if, instead of reacting to their every move, you became the queen on the board, the one they can't ignore, the one they have no choice but to respect? This isn't about manipulation or games. It's about reclaiming your power and understanding your worth. When someone walks away, they may believe they've won the game, leaving you vulnerable and defeated. But that's where they're wrong. They forgot who you are. You're not broken. You're calculating your next move. Every setback is a chance to reframe the board. Every heartbreak an opportunity to position yourself for the ultimate checkmate. Relationships, like chess, aren't about chasing. They're about standing your ground, commanding the space, and letting your presence dictate the flow of the game. In relationships, the dynamic often shifts when one person undervalues the other. They may believe they're in control, but control is an illusion. Real control comes from within, from knowing your worth and refusing to settle for less. It's not about overpowering them. It's about mastering yourself. When you stop reacting to their moves and start focusing on your own strategy, you shift the energy. Suddenly, they're the ones on the defensive, trying to figure out how to navigate the strength you've cultivated in silence. Imagine a grandmaster at a chessboard. They don't panic when their opponent makes an aggressive move. They don't chase pieces aimlessly. Instead, they lean back, assess the board, and act with deliberate precision. That's the energy you need to embody. When you stop reacting to their every word, every action, and every moment of absence, you become the calm, unshaken force they can't ignore. They walked away, but you're still standing, stronger and more focused than ever. Think about this. A chessboard is balanced, with equal pieces on both sides, but the game changes when the queen steps into her power. She doesn't need to move often to make an impact. She commands the board with every calculated step. You are the queen. Your worth isn't measured by how much you chase, but by how steadfastly you stand in your power. Let them realize that your presence was the foundation of the connection they now take for granted. As Sun Tzu said in The Art of War, to know your enemy, you must first know yourself. In relationships, the enemy isn't your partner. It's the doubt, insecurity, and fear that creep in when they underestimate your value. Look in the mirror. That's your strongest piece. Every scar is proof you've survived, and every moment of silence is a testament to the strength you've built in their absence. Picture this. They're playing their game, moving their pieces, convinced they've won. But what they don't realize is that you've been quietly building your position, preparing for the moment they finally understand the weight of your absence. Your silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. You don't need them to be whole because your strength comes from within. Let their regret grow as they see you rise, not as someone broken by their departure, but as someone thriving because of it. They'll come to realize that the game isn't about who leaves or stays. It's about who transforms. While they're busy seeking validation elsewhere, you're mastering your own life, building a version of yourself they can't match. They underestimated you. Now prove them wrong, not by words, but by action, by growth, by becoming the queen they can no longer reach. Your story isn't over, it's just beginning. Relationships are not about control over someone else. They're about the power you hold over your own life. Stop waiting for permission to shine. Stop waiting for their moves to dictate your worth. The love you seek starts with you. Why settle for surviving when you were born to thrive? Let this affirmation guide you. I am the queen of my own board. Write it in the comments to claim your power and remind yourself of the control you hold. If this message inspired you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're working tirelessly to create lessons that empower, transform, and uplift you. Your support means everything. Let's rise together. Number 7. The flame that burns without fuel. Have you ever seen a fire burn on its own, with no wood to sustain it, no wind to stoke its flames? It seems impossible, doesn't it? Yet within you exists a flame like that, one that doesn't need external validation, apologies, or promises to stay alive. It's fueled by your resilience, your unshakable self-worth, and your refusal to let anyone else determine your value. This flame, your inner fire, doesn't rely on the fleeting attention or approval of someone who walked away. It burns brighter in their absence, a beacon they can't ignore, no matter how far they run. When someone leaves, they often believe they've taken something from you, a piece of your happiness, your identity, your light. But here's the truth. They didn't take the fire. They only revealed its strength. You don't need their validation to feel whole, just as a star doesn't need the night to shine. You are not a flicker, you are an inferno. The fire that burns within you is untouchable, unstoppable. It belongs only to you. Think about a torch carried through a storm. The rain tries to extinguish it, the wind howls against it, yet it persists. That's your fire. Every tear you've shed, every moment you've doubted yourself, wasn't a sign of weakness. It was fuel for your transformation. You're not a victim of what happened. You're the survivor who turned heartbreak into strength, rejection into resilience. In relationships, we often give so much of ourselves that we believe their absence will leave us empty. But here's the irony. Their leaving doesn't dim your light. It sharpens it. It teaches you to burn brighter, not for them, but for yourself. Let them feel the warmth of your fire from afar and realize they no longer hold the match. They thought walking away would extinguish you, but instead it ignited a flame they can't put out. Picture this, a candle in a dark room. At first it seems small, insignificant, but as the darkness closes in, the light grows more powerful, more mesmerizing. That's your fire. The quieter you become, the more your presence speaks. Your silence isn't an absence. It's a force, a testament to your unshaken worth. Let them wonder. Let them regret. Let them feel the cold that only your warmth could dispel. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, the flame doesn't consume itself by burning. It thrives in its own heat. Your love, your worth, your strength, they don't depend on anyone else. They are yours, and they always have been. This is your moment to rise, to show them what they walked away from, not through anger or revenge, but through the quiet, undeniable power of your transformation. Every setback you faced, every moment of heartbreak has been preparing you for this. You're not broken, you're becoming. The love you thought you lost begins within you. The power they underestimated is now the fire they can't escape. Let them see you, stronger, brighter, untouchable. They'll come back not because you begged, but because your light left them no choice. You don't need anyone else to complete you. You don't need their apology to feel whole. Look in the mirror. That's your ally. That's the source of your fire. You are not just surviving, you are thriving. Let the hurt fuel your growth, not as a reaction to them, but as a celebration of you. Every time they remember you, it will sting, not because you chased them, but because they realize they walked away from something they'll never replace. This is your story, and it's far from over. You're not waiting for someone else to save you. You're building a life so radiant, it speaks for itself. Your flame doesn't just survive, it transforms. Let your silence be the loudest thing they've ever heard. Let your success be the response they never saw coming. You are the fire they'll never forget, the warmth they'll forever long for. Here's your affirmation. My fire